Hi everyone, this is Coach Lana checking in, and today it's 3 hours of teaching hair and makeup. How do you like it? How do you like it? Alright, wanted to make sure I got this video done for you guys. Today is day 10 video of 31, and thank you so much for following along. Today we got a lot packed in here, so I'm going to have to check my notes to make sure I stay on track. Today we're going to talk about sugars, artificial sweeteners, and the glycemic index, just a touch on each. So thank you so much for joining this 31-day challenge. If this is your first time seeing this video, no, there are 30 other videos. Have fun looking at them all. Each concept is here for you. You can try it for a day, you can try it for a week, try it for a month, or try it for the rest of the year. So basically, I'm giving you some food for thought, and I hope that you dig deeper and research what you find interesting, or maybe you don't even agree on. That's okay. You don't have to. This is how I'm living my life, and I'm just sharing it with you. So first, let's start with sugars. Oh my goodness. Seriously, I thought this was going to be easy. And as I was doing some research on certain things, I found a lot of controversy out there. So I'm going to give you my perspective on how I approach it, and you can take it or leave it. Okay, so here we go. As far as sugar goes, I don't think we need to argue that. I live in the United States. As the United States population, we eat way too much sugar. Way too much sugar. If you look at processed food labels, you are going to see sugar and salt, sugar and salt, sugar and salt. So decreasing the amount of sugar we eat is probably a good thing. But if we're going to look at the types of sugar, let's look at white sugar. Let's start with that one. White sugar basically is the most highly processed sugar, besides one other one that I'm going to touch on. It's white. It's beautiful. How did it get that way? Oh, we ripped all the nutrition out of it, and we bleached it and put chemicals to process it. Yeah, that's on my no list. I don't care if it's organic. It's still using chemicals to process it. There's no way there's white sugar out there that's organic. I would like to see that. The other one is high fructose corn syrup. So yeah, by the way, I don't use white sugar. If I can avoid it like the plague, I do. High fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup. HFCS. I'm just going to say high fructose corn syrup because I don't want to say HFCS every time because then I don't have to look up and try to find it in my brain. That's so controversial too. So you always see the commercials about how it's evil, and then you see the commercials from the corn industry that's saying, sugar is sugar, your body doesn't know the difference, it's okay. And then there's all these studies about how evil it is. So I don't care about the studies. Don't even tell me the studies. All I need to know is a couple things. One, corn. One of the most genetically modified crops in the United States. Corn. So, it's corn. It's high fructose corn syrup. I have yet to find organic high fructose corn syrup. Maybe that would be okay. But as far as I know, this is sugar that is chemically laden sugar. I'm not going to use it. And be careful, because the corn industry is trying to get high fructose corn syrup changed to corn sugar. It looks prettier. It looks so much prettier. I mean, mentally, that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Now let's move along to some that I use sometimes. Okay, we've got molasses, maple syrup, and agave. Things that are closer to the natural sugar, closer to a natural sugar. They actually contain nutrients that are good for you, and I buy organic. Let's talk about maple syrup for a second. So let's just look at these sugars. Look at your ingredients. We had a previous video, it was look at your ingredients. Look at your ingredients. Always look at your ingredients. That's one of my challenges that we had previously, but I'm still going to challenge you to do that. Everything. Look at your ingredients and everything. You'd be surprised. You're going to pick up that maple syrup, you're going to look at the back, and you're going to be surprised to see a giant laundry list of things that are in there. Are you serious? Go buy real maple syrup, where the ingredients in it are maple syrup. It's way more expensive, but it lasts so long because we're not going to use as much. We're going to pull back on how much sugar we're using. But it tastes delightful, and you're going to be able to taste the difference after using it between the chemical maple syrup and the real maple syrup. You're never going to be able to go back to the chemical one again. It's like pouring bathroom cleaner in your coffee. You're not going to want to do it. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, we talked about the sugar. Okay, artificial sweeteners. Evil. That's all I have to say. Artificial sweeteners are chemicals. They're chemicals made to taste sweet. They mess with your hormones, especially if you drink it often. If you're using it very rarely, I mean, that could be like an excuse in your mind, like, well, I hardly ever use it. Well, if you hardly ever use it, let me suggest something else. Let me suggest trying stevia. Now, stevia, even in my mind, is a little controversial, but stevia became more popular because of artificial sweeteners. The Japanese actually started cultivating it first. They started cultivating it and using it because they were using a lot of artificial sweeteners and they wanted to change to it, so they use a lot of stevia. Now, it's white and pretty, the powder, so there's probably some chemical processing going on there, but they do have organic stevia. So if you are addicted to the artificial sweeteners, it might be a way to wean yourself off. It's just like an artificial sweetener in that the taste is very strong. So you only need a little bit. You don't need a lot. So try it and see how that goes. Now, if you're going to talk about sugar, you have to talk about the glycemic index. Guess what? It's highly controversial. Most of us who are familiar with the glycemic index just take it as fact, but there is a lot of controversy in there. But there are studies that show people who eat a healthy, well-balanced, low glycemic index maintain healthy weight. If you're maintaining healthy weight, most likely you're not going to have as much of the physical problems and much of the health problems that people who aren't maintaining healthy weight. So is it related to the glycemic index or not? So some of the things that they found wrong with the glycemic index is, one thing is it doesn't take into account how much food you're eating. So for example, I could eat a really high glycemic food, just a little bit, and my blood sugar level would be fine. Or I could eat a lot of a low glycemic food and it could mess my blood sugar levels. So if you're not familiar with the glycemic index, it basically measures how your blood reacts to food sugar. And they rate things, like low glycemic foods are lentils and apples, for example. You'll find a lot of low glycemic foods tend to be healthy whole foods. But you need to be careful because sometimes unhealthy foods with high in fat and high in salts and maybe even some processed foods could be low glycemic. But it's something you just want to have, like, okay, I kind of understand what that concept is. Do I want to follow it or not? And that's the next question. So what do you do? Awareness and small changes. So how much sugar do you eat? Look at your food packages and see how much sugar is in there. How much sugar are you adding to your foods? Are you using artificial sweeteners? So take a look and look at it with an open mind and see, are there areas where I can improve? And that's all I ask. Just give it a try. So that was a lot. Sorry if this video is so freaking long. One thing I want you to also note is I always type in the text. So if you ever don't want to watch the whole video, that's okay. But if you don't watch the video, you miss out on the super secret things that I put in them. Okay, well, this is Coach Lana. Thank you so much for watching. I adore you guys. And you know what? I'm out of here.